Okay, so we're live? Alright, so guys, welcome to the stream. We have a big matchup today. We've got Odessa versus the Goats. And this is currently our number one and number two standing teams, so we're looking for a good match. I think they're ready whenever we are.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see this match between the Grove City Goats and the Odessa Outlaws. Should be fairly interesting.
Okay. So it looks like they're going to Krakoa for the first map. Yeah. Okay. Uh, Go ahead and press N for me to hide that on the bottom of the screen. Press N. There we go.
Alright, so we have our first bans and our first saves. We've got a torch ban, group ban, and a magic save. Now we've got a hella save.
Hmm.
The group ban is pretty common this season just because those walls interrupt line of sight, which is super important for healers, and makes it really, really difficult to counterplay.
True. And then that human torch ban is gonna be like a big ban there. It helps them still take zone and everything. Torch is very good for controlling zones and areas.
Yeah, controlling aerial combat allows you to have a good view of the whole battlefield, and a good torch can farm damage while also peeking around the corner just because of the square that he can put out.
Yeah. We've got a rocket save. So I'm wondering if we're gonna see a Punisher maybe out of Dragon Lord.
Maybe, yeah, we have a Cloak and Dagger save as well. So we have two healers that are being protected this round.
Yeah,
Banning
I
Ice Beast
believe.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I believe Izzy and Giggles both play Cloak and Dagger as well. So
Yeah, I'm also
securing that.
uh, not surprised at all to see the Emma ban because Emma and Salak have a great team up. Bruce and Namor also have a great team up. So it's not surprising to see him banned either.
Yeah.
It is interesting that the Groves picked tanks for all three of their bans, and the other side picked
Oh,
DPS for all three of their bans.
that is interesting. They're kind of limiting who their tank has to go against. They can control who he's comfortable going head to head with.
Yeah, exactly. We're starting to get our first picks for characters. So far, it looks like the Groves are going to be going triple support. Interestingly enough, we have Hela and Loki for their team up, but only Doctor Strange instead of having Thor go in as well.
Predict that Mr. Fantastic is going to be very annoying.
Especially because they also have two tanks already. So that's
Hmm.
basically a triple tank loadout versus a triple support.
Yeah, that can hold space really well for that Hela that Mystic's running. So interested to see how that plays out. in this first team fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching Drew's food first because he's already on point.
And
Ooh.
Magic goes down very quick from that Hella shot.
Big pick getting rid of Diablum, says Magic.
Yeah.
Big pick from Drew's food. Getting rid of Exitane. Making space. Ricochet gets a sleep on Strange. That is just some huge presence.
And then Diablum takes Dragon Lord out there. Try to even the numbers up.
So far, we have almost everybody.
Yeah, we've got Mystic protecting point with Rocket.
We have Magic trying to create some space. Takes a lot of damage and has to back off again.
Exitane's popping that Punisher ult.
Big Punisher ult protected by the Strange.
Ricer pops their ult to counter it.
Excellent protect from Drew's food. And he peels back to try and take care of that Magic.
And they have ult here.
They do have ult, but with that much health, you don't want to ult and then die in the middle of your ult. It does look like almost everyone on both teams has ult ready right now. We have 8 ults ready, about to be 9. I am now going to be watching Mystic.
Let's go.
Mystic falls.
Diablums gets a pick on Ricer as well. They're down to support. Ooh, big ult out of Drew's. Everyone is pressing Q right now.
And there goes Exitane again. There's a ton of presence from Groves on point though. And they finally lost it.
A fine victory. We have earned a little pride.
A shortcut through space.
Oh no,
and
but
that
they're
is the
going.
first round.
They have 2 ults going into round 2. So we'll see if they're able to take control first of that point. I think that's kind of what made the difference there in that round.
Yeah, that's definitely rough for them. They have that first point, and Hella's got ult. So if I were Mama Joe, I would honestly swap to Thor because Hella's got ult. That way I can get my free revive because you're pretty much guaranteed a kill with the Hella ult.
I am a goddess.
We also see a switch out of Giggles on Goats. There's now Penny on the field.
We are also looking at 2-2-2 now instead of triple support.
All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
I think these higher tier gameplays really shows us why 2-2-2 is still meta and not triple support, triple tank, or triple DPS.
We've got a Captain America on the field as well. Or a Dragon Master.
Now drop faster.
Alright, we have both teams feeling each other out. Getting ready to push point.
Yeah, they both have the support ult too, so gonna be who outlives the other.
It does look like we have our first support ult out. And Hella ult. Dragon Master's
Mama
half
Joe
is able
has-
to push Rocket out.
Mama Joe's getting low. Excitation
Great
is-
work by Dragon Master, keeping that Hella out of the fight. Exitane, Diabolums, and Ricochet, and Kingsley all down for the count. Dragon Master is going to fall as well, and they are now staggered. Groves is going to have a hard time picking back up if they stay staggered.
Take a look behind.
Alright, I'm spectating Mama Joe right now. Venom is creating a lot of space.
Oh, was able to get a pick. But Mystic's right back after that revive.
Mantis gets a sleep on Mama Joe, but leaves Cloak and Dagger to fend for herself, which allows Mama Joe to get the pick on Cloak and Dagger.
Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
There goes Exitane. Down for the count, and they are now stuck hiding inside of spawn.
Focus on the battle.
Both teams have 2 ults ready for the next fight. Big ult by Venom, able to help counter that dagger play. Gets kidnapped by Diabolums. Well done, Diabolums. Says Wolverine.
America. Captain America pops his ult, trying to hold point, try to contest it.
Diabolum says Wolverine is putting in work right now, clearing space for his team so that Grove City can take point.
They have to hold it this entire time.
True, but
Like-
Diabolums is already now 12 and 5. He's making space and he's got ult ready, and so does Mantis.
They've also got Punisher ult on the table as well.
We have 3 ults ready for both teams. Wolverine gets stunned, but lives through it.
Don't give him an inch.
Wolverine dives in to try and take point, but even with ult is unable to do anything.
I'm opening a portal.
I think this is going to be round right here.
Pickles was able to touch it.
They were
just in
able to
time.
touch. But they're all super staggered. And that is point. First game goes rather quickly actually to the Odessa Outlaws. Holding tab, we have our MVP and SVP. And it looks like Diabolums was SVP and MVP was Dragon Lord Cat. Mr. Fantastic was just an excellent choice so that they could start with 2.5 tanks against that triple support, get that early roll and keep them staggered. So, what do you think about the composition choice for the Grove City Goats?
Um, I think that it went a little bit better once they switched to the common setup, the 2-2-2. And they had some really good like wins on like they had that one team fight that really saved them the round and gave them time to try to fight back. I think it's just finding what tanks are working against like it's a lot of damage coming out of Odessa. So the Groot ban, I know that Groves have a good Groot. I think that that Groot ban worked in Odessa's favor. Didn't really allow them to kind of mitigate that damage they were pushing, block some of the angles that Hela is using.
Yeah, I think pulling out Wolverine was a very smart choice by Diablums.
Hmm.
He was able to counter the one of the tanks and then get a healer pick right after it.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely saw the pressure kind of teetering once that pick came into the game.
Yeah, I think anytime that you're struggling against tanks, pulling out a Wolverine out of your pocket is just a really good trick to have.
Mm. But that is the first map going to Odessa. First, that was domination in their favor.
I am ready for the next round.
And we are getting Louis or I Terminator in on the goats side. That is typically their second tank, working well with Dragon Master. They did have Ricochet filling in as a free agent sub, and this is the second time I believe Rico has filled in for teams as a free agent. So we do appreciate when our free agents step up and try to fill and help out these teams get their matches played. So thank you to Rico. You can exit spectating in settings. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we are just waiting for that sixth player to join. Teams do have a max of 5 minutes in between. But I am interested now, knowing that like their team up their player roster, what they're used to coming into this second map, if that will make a difference. You know, because chemistry with your tanks is important too as well. And Giggles really stepped up to play tank there. I think Rico is a strategist sub, so Giggles off rolling to tank there to try to help out her team. I'm interested to see how that differs with Terminator joining.
Yeah, in these more informal matches, it's definitely interesting that now that teams are starting to play together for longer periods of time,
Mm-hmm.
the one or two really, really good players can no longer carry because there's one or two really good players on both sides. And so
Mm-hmm.
looking at
Mm-hmm.
the team synergy is really important.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna make sure that they know that production is ready. believe we're just waiting on the Grove City Goats to let us know that they're ready. And we're going to Spider Islands. That does not surprise me.
Yeah, Groot and Torch. Again, it just makes sense to target Groot ban. And Torch is just super powerful this season.
They're saving magic, which makes me think Diablums is gonna bring that out again.
We do see an Emma save this time, though. Which means we might see an Emma Psylocke team up if they don't ban Psylocke.
Okay, they opt for that Hella ban.
That makes sense as well. The Hela was just able to put out so much damage in that first fight.
I do think we see a Psylocke save, though, because of that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
Well, both teams have a strong Bucky, Hela, and Psylocke player, so when you narrow it down, they're probably going to want one of the three at least to be an option.
I am kind of surprised to see the Iron Fist ban again. Maybe it's because they know that there's an Iron Fist
The
player.
right heroes could make all the difference.
I believe that Diablums brought out an Iron Fist in a recent match.
That makes sense.
I'm just
We do see a
guessing.
Venom ban from the Grove City Goats, which makes sense.
Yeah, Mama Joe is putting the pressure on them with that Venom.
On this map, I personally love to go Penny if I'm on defense. But
It's a
it
solid
doesn't seem
choice.
that that is going to be the case
You'll
with
be
this
coming in
team.
30 seconds. Stay strong.
We are getting our rollout, and it does look like they are trying triple support again.
This war has brought together.
Start off spectating Terminator, since they just joined the match and they're on the thing.
Here's the
The
thing.
battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think that they're going to give us the thing.
Finally, someone worth clobbering.
Ooh, nice hit from Black Widow. Terminator did put some pressure on their DPS jet. He is taking way too much damage and has to fall back.
Damage.
Great stunts by Thing.
Yeah, the thing is a great pick going against Emma or
Great Magneto bubble as well. And Thing falls. Big ult by Widow. That's going to be a lot of pressure. They are all going to fall now.
Someone scratch my The web of life and destiny. Bring it on.
Cloak and Dagger is forced to retreat in a big way, and Thing falls.
And they just lose line of sight there. Unfortunate. Mojo's putting a lot of pressure on those strategists there. Takes out Mantis.
Dragon Lord Cat gets a triple with his ult.
Double KO. That's 3.
And the
And
Jeff
commits to Buku.
has made its move.
Are we going all the way up?
I
in
think
the web?
people seriously underestimate the power of a good DPS Jeff.
Yeah. When played right, they can really be a menace in that backline. Ult economy is in favor of the goats here, though. We'll see what they're able to do with that.
Yeah, Dragon Lord Cat already has 3,600 damage, beating out the other two supports and almost keeping up with the DPS.
And that
Born again!
Dragon Lord takes
A
out
lot of
Extra Pain and
kills.
Kingsley.
a lot of Q's getting hit. Oh,
And so did you. Ha!
Big picks from Jeff. And helps take out Giggles. They are spawn trapped. Ghost City Groats is spawn trapped right now.
I was fine. but thank you.
The bubble push from Jeff is just so powerful right now. Good job, Diablos, taking out Jeff and then able to return to the fight. Right now, though, Grove's spawn is so close to the point that Jeff is able to get right back in.
I was fine.
Emblems is wreaking havoc in that backline though, doing the best they can to disrupt Odessa.
I'm gonna be spectating Diablums as soon as they spawn back in.
And another Jeff ult. Jeff is very strong on these kind of game modes though. You will not have long overtime fights because Jeff is playing well. Remember seeing these ults come out of the goats?
The god of thunder!
They're able to take out that widow that was giving them issues.
Big ult by Diablums, holding in pressure against their tanks. Gets
A
slept by
lot
Mantis.
of amazing sleeps out of Ricer this game.
Finishes off Rocket, finishes off Mantis. Kills Widow. That is a triple for Diablums.
And then we see just the Dragon Lord Jeff.
Big damage against their Jeff.
Armor packs here!
Just staying focused on
Diablums versus the whole team.
the
Can he make it out?
objective.
Great picks by Diablums.
And great priority. You see the tank low, you do not let up off of them.
And there falls Diablums, and that's going to allow Grubs to move forward and take this point.
The god of thunder!
The current score is 0-3. 3. Time to switch things up, including which side you're on. You'll need a
Yeah,
top-notch team to win
and
this one.
that right there, that Jeff really was putting in a lot of work. Hmm.
We have somebody in the comments that's looking for some royalty-free music that they want to see streamed. I'm very interested to see what they come up with. Alright, I'm tabbing right now so I can look at damage, damage blocked, healing, and accuracy. So far it looks like
30
most
seconds before
damage
you
of the
attack.
match
Get ready.
is actually a tank, and it's Drew's food.
How nice of you
Currently
to join
playing
us,
Emma.
Ileana. Done playing Demon
15k
Queen?
damage,
I've been
11
at war
final
with
hits.
gods, Emma. What have you been doing?
Most final
Happened
hits
to run a
actually
sovereign
belongs to
mutant
Dragon
nation.
Lord
Oh,
Cat though,
and I just
with
had a manicure.
14 final hits.
Style
Incredible work
DPS
as a healer.
Jeff.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Enemy ahead of us.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
Great work holding
We
space,
are-
Terminator.
Yeah, we are seeing that Emma now coming out for the Groves as well.
Taking out that revive beacon is great.
Keep going.
That's one less life that they'll have.
Taking a flank with this Wolverine, and he kidnaps Mystic, and wow,
That is a
just
great kidnap.
deletes them.
And getting rid of any character in this team fight allows for so much pressure. Unfortunate that Terminator is being targeted by Psylocke in the back, but Cloak and Dagger saves with the ult, and Terminator is able to apply pressure to that DPS Jeff in the back and keep them off of the healers.
Gets away, but they are able to take that point. And that's one thing about a really good Jeff is even if you're not getting the picks, if you're able to distract them and disorientate the team, you're doing your job.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. When you're being attacked from both sides, that can really disrupt your thinking and make it really hard to prioritize targets.
We do have diemblems with that magic ult though. And here it goes.
It does look like we are getting a quick raid from Fireball. Thanks for the raid.
Able to take out Drew's food is big. Oh wow. And both strategists on the other team.
Great dodge by Terminator, getting out of that Death ult.
Come, my minion.
Helps secure that kill against the Thor.
Okay, this feels good. Charge.
Halfway there.
time.
Keep going.
It does look like they are going to mostly just ignore that DPS Jeff, focus on getting the point and staying with their team.
Yeah, Izzy is able to counter that Psylocke ult.
This will confuse them.
Mystic is backing up. DPS Jeff in the
Great choke
back.
slam by
going for the-
Terminator.
Against the world.
Alright, I am going to spectate Mystic real quick. Mystic is isolating Terminator.
The whole team. That is the whole team taken away by Jeff.
Great kill by Mystic.
Wish I could do what you do.
Mystic getting that Emma pick is going to be huge so that the team is down a tank into the next fight.
Get that vehicle moving again. You're mine.
Gets kidnapped by Diablons, but is able to get out. Great ult by Mystic.
The god of thunder!
Thor ults, but is unable to secure any picks. And gets picked off by Mystic.
Great pick out of Diablums. Able to take out both their strategists. So as their team comes back, they should have an advantage.
It looks like Mystic is waiting for that Wolverine to be distracted before moving in. Taking height. Sees that the Luna is ulting and jumps in so they can take advantage.
Everyone is pressing Q right now.
We do have some major support ults. It looks like we're seeing a good few swaps as well. We have an Iron Man swap.
Great pick on Mystic. They're so close.
They are right there. But with that Psylocke ult, I don't think they're going to be able to take it. They have 10 seconds left to get to point. Touch.
He is buying them the time they need with this ult.
They have
But you
landed
have got
over
to
time.
get there. They have Exitane with that Iron Man ult who's coming in.
Maximum pulse!
Great
Ooh,
picture.
able to take out Drew's. It is winnable.
Excellent counter dash by Mystic, and that is what won them that round.
Final score. 1, 2, 3. Another epic victory.
What final hits in the lobby we're looking at? Dragon Lord's Jeff. We did see them pop a Jeff out in their last matchup in week 2. And I don't know if they just were playing around giving us a teaser, but they committed to Jeff this week. And
Well, yeah, that's
really
really
made
what
that
won them the game.
difference.
Maintaining that pressure on that back line so they're being shot at from their flank was able to completely destroy any chance of healing that they could have. Force them to even swap to triple tank, and it wasn't enough. They just annihilated this round. I think Psylocke put in really great work with timing, waiting for Wolverine to walk by so they can't get kidnapped by Wolverine. And sneak attacking whoever was isolated.
Yeah, and the emblems had some great ults as well. Some great picks even without their ult, and it's just that pressure in the backline. Just they never had their full team really there to back them up after those picks because you had Thor in the backline, you had Psylocke that could go to the back, and you had Jeff. So I'm interested to see if they let Jeff through for this next map.
Honestly, though, after the way these 2 rounds have gone, I would ban Jeff. That was brutal.
It would just take away one thing in the back of your mind of where is Jeff? Because the survivability with that strategist is insane. Arguably the best survivability in the whole game is with Jeff. So
Yeah, he doesn't
if
even have
I
to
were
look for a health
them,
pack. He can just
heal himself.
constantly dive and heal himself.
Yeah, so I would go ahead and take that out if I were the goats as well.
I'm adding up together the healing numbers as well, and it does look like there is 30, 44,000, about 45,000 healing from the Odessa Outlaws. 45,000 compared to 53,000. Just doing some mental math real quick. So they actually did more healing on the side of the Grove City Goats, but it just wasn't enough because of how much damage they were outputting.
Yeah.
It is also really hard to say with just looking at numbers whether they were farming that healing off of just healing a tank. That is sometimes something that happens, but I don't think that is what happened here. I think that was just a huge amount of damage being bursted into individual players that were out of position. Do we have music going right now? Somebody posted a copyright-free song in the chat, if you wouldn't mind playing that.
We
Yeah, we can have
probably
music in the
won't
in the
have
background.
it. We probably won't have it for this just because our lovely broadcaster is a volunteer last second and just wanted to make sure we were able to have something streamed. But going forward, we probably will have music.
Okay.
Despite all of our predicting, Jeff has not been banned yet.
And it doesn't look like they're hovering Jeff again, which means they must have been training as Jeff.
Like I said, their last matchup, they did give us a teaser of Jeff. But
The right
so
hero
far
can
it
make
seems
all the
like
difference.
the goats are not worried about Jeff. Maybe that Iron Fist is who they have planned to deal with him.
Iron Fist does indeed diff Jeff every time just because parries are good, the damage is good, and the speed is incredible. We are seeing
And
a
I think,
bunch of people hover over different characters, so it'll be interesting to see what they actually pick at the start of the match.
oh, not an Iron Fist.
Right now,
But
I'm
yes
spectating
to the Jeff.
Diablums because they are on defense as Mr. Fantastic,
They'll be
and they are
coming in 30
moving quickly.
seconds. Stay strong.
We do have a Penny. Out of giggles, Terminator has swapped to Strategist.
This map is incredible for Penny. You put the mine layer right there,
Agreed.
although I usually try to hold a little bit further forward as Penny, and then walk back to point.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3,
But it looks like they're gonna just
You
let
can-
them pre-walk.
1.
and
You can
focus
also
on-
set up some really good traps around the environment here. A lot of doorways, a lot of boxes. Put your web.
Wait to take some samples.
Yeah, it does look like Mr. Fantastic is gonna put pressure, get that first pick. Well done.
Dragon Master is doing well holding space up front. He's going back to deal with that Jeff. Jeff is not a problem for this fight.
Using that environment to his advantage, Diablums is able to put a lot of pressure. Holding those angles and the grabbing that his arms have is really good for pulling people out of position.
Drew as well has opted to swap to Duelist so far on Star-Lord. We're used to seeing him as a tank. Pain with that
We
ult,
are
getting his
watching the
reset.
Bucky ult, and the Bucky ult is gonna fry the whole team.
I've got you covered.
Again, every time.
And that's a team fight in favor of the goats.
Incredible
Dragonlord
pick by
has
Octane.
swapped off of that Jeff, going on to Iron Man.
Great hook by Exitane. Gets countered and chokeslammed.
Diablums brings out his ult.
Incredible pick by Drew's Food, allowing that team to actually get some pressure and start walking forward. The Odessa Outlaws got to take advantage of Exitane being out of the fight.
They are down a strategist though.
Honestly, that's fine.
Invisible
Once
Woman's
Exitane
ult
is down, that's when
protecting
I would
them.
move forward.
And all the
Great
ults are
eye of
off the
Agamotto.
table.
Does look like those counter ults were incredible, and with Exitane gone, they were able to fold even with the back and forth ults. Great first
Okay
battle.
though. That is okay though. Odessa did pop that Invisible Woman ult. Maybe they didn't need it. Maybe they're gonna want it later on, going into this next team fight. And we
I
do have
definitely think that they
another.
needed it.
Yeah, we do have Exitane coming up on his ult. Dragonlord probably looking for a good opportunity to pop his. Gets a
It does
pick
look like
on
Mama
Iron
Ghost is
Fist.
diving early. And is able to retreat back to his team.
Pain. They were going to isolate that Thor and try to finish him with that ult. It was a great try, but they are able to get away.
Great pick by Drew's Food, getting rid of that Luna. And the choke slam. Absolutely incredible picks. Drew's Food as Emma is putting in work. Those choke slams have been incredible this season.
I believe they just got hooked and pulled away from their team though. So goats do have an advantage going into this with that Emma down.
It does look like the Goats was able to pick out that Thor that was overextended. They've got ults in the bank.
If they stagger their ults well, they'll be fine. Ooh.
That was a really good try trying to push Iron Man, but it was mistimed. That Iron Man ult is just so quick.
If there was ever a time to hit that maximum pulse, that was the time to do it.
When the whole team is gathered up trying to survive because of that healing ult.
Great hooks out of Exegame.
Yeah, the hook really combines well with the push and pull that Sue has as well. We have a big... Oh, never mind, not a big ult. Ella in the back line is able to pick off.
They do have this Luna ult.
I'm spectating
going
Mystic.
into this.
We need to get Null's essence beneath the surface. Find that soul. I am ready to put on a show.
Mystic is farming damage right now as Hella, sticking very close to point. Very quickly getting close to ult, and there is the Hella ult. Isolating those tanks first, getting those picks, and that's gonna take them a point. Well done, Odessa Outlaws.
The current score is 0-3. Time to switch things up, including which side you're on. You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Honestly, I think this match came down to ult timing. That Iron Man ult taking out Invisible Woman was huge.
I believe it took out both strategists, which stopped that. Like, you had the ability to kind of like after Invis, pop Luna type of thing, but getting them both out just was kind of the smart play that
You never
round.
told me where you learned all those tricks.
It's called camouflage. Not exactly a new brochure.
So you weren't bitten by a radioactive wizard?
Peter, please.
Not teasing us and is coming out of the gate with the Spider-Man. I definitely think we stick with him for a second and see what he does.
1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Pretty sure those are bad guys.
It does look like Diablums is trying to put some pressure on that Iron Man.
Which I think is a very smart decision.
Gets that pick and gets rid of Iron Man. Great work.
Beersford is able to make that trade for Exitane though.
And take
A
out
Dragon
the
Master.
Great work, Diablums.
Getting both strategists low.
And is he going to take out Mystic? He will. That is a great pick. And there goes Diablums. Excellent defense.
Amazing hook and elimination out of Exitane on that Iron Man.
He's able to sling Thor, but Thor's dashes are just great at getting him back in the fight.
Goats need to definitely regroup here. They're coming in a bit staggered.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge problem for Grove City Goats is they're just staying staggered. Diablons could just go straight to point, seeing that there's 6 of them, all in that hallway. Could just push point and make them at least turn around.
Just distract them for a moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Enemy in front of us.
That put some pep in my step.
It does look like he is very close to his ult. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I think they have time for 2 more actual battles, depending on how this fight goes.
Again!
Great pick by Diablums, taking out that overextended Bucky. Gets a double with his ult.
No strategist on the side of Odessa. This is the time for the Ghosts to take point.
Puts pressure on that Iron Man, gets the kill. Runs back to his team.
Needs his team to follow him up here.
The pick on the Emma. Portal to get them back in the fight. But Diablums is going off as Spider-Man right now. Using that portal to get early Iron Man kill.
Iron Man out of spawn.
Insane stagger.
And ultimately able to help his team take space and take that point.
He's also forcing 3 teammates to all hide around corners.
The only ult on the table right now is this Hulk ult. The Dragon Master is holding.
Great movement by Spider-Man, just getting in and out of the fight, harassing their whole team. This is exactly what we want to see with the neighborhood-friendly Spider-Man. Oh, now that he's down, big ult from Psylocke, gets a triple. Hulk is ulting to stay alive, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold on for much longer. And he gets melted, he's down as well. They do have 2 minutes on the clock. They need to just regroup and not stagger. This corner is going to be really hard for them to move past if they don't get rid of that Iron Man.
And Mama Joe
Great
just dodged
Spider-Man.
that ult out of
Countered,
Exitane,
yep.
but they were still able to get that pick.
That's fine, honestly, just keeping them stunned, getting that early Luna ult. This right here can be exactly what they need to push.
Great ult out of Izzy, checking his team.
Only 60 seconds left.
Great around the corner kill. Already at 6 final hits as from the Diablums, and almost every single one of those hits is a healer. Incredible freeze from Luna. Great job, Ryseer. Stuns that Spider-Man, allows the team to secure the kill.
Going for the portal on point for his team with 10 seconds left to touch. He does have ult. Terminator doesn't have to worry about a choke slam with his ult.
So many ults happening right now. With how close we are to this point. Incredible push. The goats are able to get that point.
They're saying they do not want the game to end.
If they're able to push it all the way, we're gonna see another match.
Shane is putting in a lot of work for his team with 21 final hits on Bucky. The most in the lobby, so we're gonna really see if it's enough.
Only 60 seconds left.
Turning around to protect his strategist once he sees they're getting griefed.
I am ready to put on
An absolutely disgusting hook on that Psylocke.
Yeah, I think Hulk ulting really forced Luna to ult. And you want to be the one forcing the enemy to ult.
Giggle's popping that ult as soon as she's released from that Emma ult.
Big Bucky ult. Incredible movement from Exodane.
Huge ult out of Mama Joe on Thor. And Izzy is just trying to get back. Pop that ult for their tank. Here's food is low.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner. I like the code. Fantastic. Turn around, quick. Double kill.
We are back in overtime. Incredible ult from Terminator. And there goes overtime. That was
Spider-Man
a
tried
really
for that
incredible match.
touch. It was.
Another epic victory.
Honestly, looking at these stats, I think if Terminator went Venom and gave that Spider-Man just that little bit of a boost, he might have been able to secure a few more picks or stay alive a little bit longer. And that might have been the difference needed to get their victory. Because Diablums was putting in great work as Spider-Man, and I think he just needed a little bit of help to not die 15 times.
Yeah, it was just a lot of damage coming out of Odessa, which is what I think makes them so strong, is they just have a lot of damage output that it's hard. Even with all of that, Exitane still able to get 26 final hits is insane to me. I think that he was constantly putting that damage and that pressure in for his team, which is, again, a big reason why they were able to contest Odessa as long as they did.
Yeah, Exitane getting the most final hits in the entire lobby is definitely an exemplary sign of his skill as a DPS. I think King Izzy was putting in great work healing, 28k healing in that match. That is a ton of work. And that's with dying 14 times, whereas the other team's healers, Deathly Shriek and Ryseer, died a lot less and did even less healing. So I think that part of that is because of positioning and all of that. But if King Izzy is doing that much healing, that really goes to show you just how much damage is coming out of Odessa.
Yeah. All in all, these when you look at map wins or map count wins, they don't really show just how much of a fight it was for these wins, which I think can be discouraging to some players, but we've had a lot of very close, really coming down to just one ult of a difference on if like a team fight is won, and that really makes the difference on how much time you finish the map with or the round with, or if your team wins that team fight altogether, if you why you did or didn't win that map. So it can really come down to something so small, but in the grand scheme of things, it can have a big impact. So I think there were a few moments like that in this matchup where just the slightest difference could have changed the outcome. We could have been going to, a map 4.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest
But
ones where that happened was where uh, Rysier got a freeze, helping to kill Diablums.
mm, mm,
Landing that freeze is so hard on a character that is that mobile. And so I think that was a really, really good thing that Rysier did that just is never going to show up in the stats.
but that made a big impact. So
Hmm.
we try to really, there's so much action going on, especially in a matchup. This was our number 1 and number 2 teams, guys, in week 3. Like going into week 3 standings, this was 1 and number 2. And I think that it was a good matchup. I think that they have great duelists on both teams, solid strategists, and their tanks have that like mobility, or they're able to really hold ground. So it was a fun match to watch, to cast, even though I don't particularly like casting. I
I'm a
don't
pretty big
really
fan of
like
casting, and I've
casting,
been getting more into it.
but I did enjoy just trying to look at who's gonna make a move, and it was a great matchup. I think the stats show that it was not an easy battle.
For sure. And with that, thank you to our casting team. Thank you to our broadcasters. And thank you to the Discord hosts. This has been a wonderful night, and I am headed out.
I do want to make real quick one announcement before we end stream to any viewers still watching. You may or may not have heard, but I will be making an announcement in the server after the stream ends. Unfortunately, we do have to say goodbye to our Tokyo Thundercats for this season. Some unfortunate circumstances happened in the recent league week, and we just were not able to gather a GM to take over the team or rebuild it. They were number 3 in the standings. It was a tie between a few teams, but they were 3rd in standings. So it is a little sad to have to see them go so early. But for any teams going forward, your schedules, if you are scheduled to go against Tokyo, that would just be a bye week for your team. You would not have a match that week. You could use it for scrims or to really practice a little bit more with your teams, but I'll make an announcement about that shortly after we end stream. That's all I have, so